All right, we're here with
It's
Houston
good.
Dynamo
It's good.
midfielder Marcelo Palomino. Marcelo, how's the team been preparing for this upcoming rivalry match with North Texas?
Yeah, we've been doing all we can. We're coming off of a game on Sunday. It's a short week, but we're prepared for it, and we're doing everything we can to make sure we're ready on both sides of the ball and for the mental part of the game, which is sometimes the biggest part. So.
Next, we'll go to Christian Gutierrez from Dynamo Theory. Go ahead, Christian.
Can you guys hear me well there?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Right, cool. Okay, cool. Well, how you doing, Marcelo? Hope you're doing all right. But basically, like you said, short week, short turnaround. Do you guys, prepare it any differently when you have those games kind of like back to back, in a way? Do you guys do anything different, the conditioning or even like the mental side of things?
Definitely. We have people that, that are monitoring all that are monitoring our levels of work outside our workloads, and, they tailor and change the sessions based on how hard we went the day before or the amount of time we have in between games. And, they're great at doing their work. And so everything that we do is measured and purposeful. So definitely they take all that into account, the game, the heat, everything. And, we do our best, from staff and from players to make sure that we're ready. And then from the players' perspective or the player side of things, even when you're at home, making sure that you're doing what you can to make sure you're prepared and to make sure that you're healthy and ready for the game.
And then the other question I had for you is, it seems like between, yourself, Brooklyn Reigns, and Juan Casilla, you guys have a nice partnership going on. Can you just kind of go maybe into detail, how you guys get along, how you guys work together? Because I know sometimes you guys get to train together with the first team and then sometimes maybe separate. I'm not sure. But, just talk about that partnership for a little bit if you can.
Yeah, it's great. I love playing with them. I love having them beside me on the pitch. And I fully trust them and know that they're going to do their part and their work, and that they trust me to do mine. And we have a good bond off the field as well. We get along very well. And I think that carries into the field. And I think we show it week in and week out that we have that connection, that we have that trust. And same with, every single other player on the field.
And just a quick last one, sorry. What can you tell me about the two newest guys up top? The two newest additions.
Are you speaking of Isaiah LaFleur?
Yeah, I exactly, yeah.
Yeah, he's good. I haven't seen too much of him, but from what I've seen, I could tell he's a great player, and we all saw it whenever he came in and had an instant impact. He's someone that I look forward to playing with and getting to know even more. And building a connection as well to make sure we're on the same page and on the field. And he's a great guy off the field as well from the short time I spent with him.
All right, that's it for me, Marcelo. Thank you so much, man.
Thank you.
Awesome. We'll wrap it up there. Thanks so much for your time, Marcelo. We'll be back with Kenny Bundy shortly. Great. We're here with Houston Dynamo 2 head coach Kenny Bundy. I'll start and then throw it to you, Christian. Kenny, how's the team preparing given the sort of shorter period between games this week?
We always knew July was going to be a bit of a different preparation time for us, where we play Sunday, Friday, where you have a longer week and you have a shorter week. And I think it's a great experience for the players, them being able to have to adjust to different preparation and different timings. It prepares them for what the MLS looks like. I mean, you can look at what the schedules look like right now for some teams, and they're playing Saturday, Tuesday, Saturday, or Sunday, Wednesday, Saturday. And I think it really shows the depth in the group. It also it's a good tool for them to dial in how they prepare individually.
Great. Thank you for that. Next, we'll go to Christian Gutierrez from Dynamo Theory. Go ahead, Christian.
Hey, how's it going, Kenny?
Hey, buddy, how are you?
Pretty good. Just a quick one. How did can you tell me a little bit about Isaiah? How did you see him this past weekend? Of course, he had a pretty good match himself, but can you tell us a little bit about him? You know, how he's working, how he's getting acclimated to the teammates?
Yeah, obviously made an instant impact in the game. He's a player that can play multiple positions, so he can play as a left back or he can play as a left winger. Coming in on trial, I think I've spoken about this before, but he was very, very focused coming in. And sometimes as a trialist, when you come in, it's hard to adapt to not only the level of training, the intensity of training, but also expectations from a staff that you've never worked with. So I was really impressed with how professional he was when he came in. Obviously, he didn't necessarily know if his ITC was going to get cleared, if he was going to be able to play, but he prepared as if he was. And when we made that change, we made it very clear to him these were the expectations. He wanted to know as much information as possible, and he executed the game plan. And I think the players around him, you know, not only did they make him better, but, you know, he showed that you can trust him in some of those key situations. So I was really happy with that. And overall, the number one thing that I think a player can control is their effort and their work rate. And we saw in that game that he's a player that's willing to do the extra running. He's a player that is willing to run for the team, which is huge as a young guy. So I'm really excited about him, excited about his future. And he's got a good personality. You know, we have a very good culture in this group where the players on the field push each other and they're very, very hard on each other. The standards are high, but also off the field, the same thing can be said about how well they get along. You're not always going to be best friends with every player on the team, but when they come into the gym, when they come in and play soccer, tennis, when they come in and they're doing prehab or rehab stuff, you know, he fits into the culture that we're trying to build here.
So the first team just came back from you know, 2 back-to-back rivalry matches. Do you guys feel any type of rivalry, you know, with North Texas, you know, being the fact that they're from Dallas as well? And then I guess the second part of that would be, you know, we at Dynamo here, we enjoy the way that you see the game and the way that you scout, you know, you and your team scout the opponent. Can you tell us a little bit about, you know, the opponent, what you expect from them, since you already know them a little bit?
Yeah. Obviously, every time you play Dallas, a Dallas-Houston game is a massive game. You know, we talk about it a lot, and I've said this to you guys, you know, every game is important. Rivalries are something that I think are produced throughout a league as the league starts to evolve. But obviously, Houston-Dallas is always going to be a huge one. It's always going to be a game you want to win. It's an in-state rivalry. I have all the respect in the world for Pa and what his staff has done and the players that he's brought in and the game model that he's put in place. So, you know, for us, yes, it's a very important game, but it's also a game of teams in the top 4. So take out what state you're in, take out, you know, how you feel about another team in the league. This is a game of 2 top 4 teams fighting for the playoffs, fighting for that top position. So that makes the game even more important. From a standpoint of, you know, how we scout Dallas, it's very simple. They are a massive threat going forward. They have some real key pieces up front that honestly, individually can win games. But I think the one thing Dallas does well is they balance how they build out of the back and how they play direct. So they're not a team that's solely focused on, we are going to play out of the back, we're going to make sure we connect through the midfield. They will adapt and potentially just go direct early and allow the individuals up front to create things. Their midfield 3, you know, consistently, it's probably been 4 or 5 players that they've rotated into those positions, but they do a great job of freeing themselves to face forward. So our goal and our job this weekend is to disrupt the rhythm. You know, we're away from home. We want to keep the ball as much as we can, potentially pin them into their own half and really put them under pressure so that we can nullify some of their fast attacks. Because when they do get on the break, the quality that they have up front, it's top of the league. And you can see that with some of the results that they've had. You know, I think this league, I talk about this a lot, but you can't look at past results, especially, you know, the last 2 weeks they've had, and say, oh, they're on a slide, or oh, they've dropped some points. You can look at those games and you can say, there are things that haven't bounced their way, but they are a very, very, very good team. And that's why they sit in the standings where they do. So I'm excited because these are the games you want to play. You want to test yourself against the top teams, and you want to test yourself against teams that are in good form. So I'm very excited about this.
And last one, quick one. Everybody wants to know, how is the black outfit in the 105-degree weather out there?
Yeah, we look. There's philosophies around acclimation to the heat. We train at 10:30, so by the time training is ending, we're starting to hit that peak heat, that humidity. Honestly, we do everything in our power to prepare the boys through hydration and nutrition. We try everything, from some cold immersion stuff to get recovery faster. We do hydration testing. We do all these different things to really make sure the players know what they need to do, because at the end of the day, it's on them. And I spoke about this after the Salt Lake game. It was interesting because I thought we were in clear control. We concede the goal off of something that I would consider, kind of a fluke incident where Mikhail slips. And then I felt like we kind of felt bad for ourselves. We almost dropped the level. And I talked to the boys this week about the mentality of what it takes when you get fatigued, right? Because the first thing that happens to players when they start to get fatigued, especially in this heat, is their mind goes. They start having negative thoughts. They stop thinking and focusing on the details. And I really challenge them to control that, because I think it's really important for the players to understand that each player is going to go through moments in the game where they're fresh, and then when they're fatigued, and where they're playing well and maybe they have a mistake. And one of the key pieces this week from the staff to the guys was, if you're feeling 90% and you're flying at that moment, and there's a guy that maybe is at 60%, how can you take some of your energy? How can you take some of your mentality and feed it over to that player, so that you're helping your team as well? Maybe it's extra running. Maybe it's a pat on the back. Maybe it's you're shouting at somebody to work harder. Whatever it is, how can you and how can we as a team help each other through these moments? Because it is very difficult as you get into the latter stages of these games, when the heat is what it is, when the humidity is what it is, to mentally stay focused on the details. And these games we're seeing throughout the year they're boiling down to who capitalizes on mistakes and who makes mistakes. So it's really important that, especially this weekend, we are focused the entire 100 minutes we'll probably end up playing.
And I imagine you will be wearing black as well, huh?
I'm wearing the same thing we wore last time, man. We won, so I told, and the boys know that about me. I'm wearing the dark blue polo and the black pants. So if they have to sweat, we have to sweat. I made the joke as a staff. The staff has kind of got like a running culture where everybody's kind of running, and we've got a race that we planned for after the season where the whole staff is going to do it. And I tell the boys all the time, sometimes we as a staff go out and run at 2:30, because if we're going to ask them to suffer, we're going to go suffer in the heat as well. Now, we run way slower and way shorter, but still it's the idea that if they're going to suffer and we're going to ask them to suffer, we'll suffer too.
That's good. Well, good luck up in Frisco.
Thank you so much.
All right, we'll end it there. Thanks, Christian. I'll have media resources for you later.